Hey foodie friend, welcome back to another episode of Olivia's Best Recipes, where I share with you my best recipes the easy way. So if you love cooking and baking from scratch, go ahead and subscribe. Today's episode is all about this fluffy coconut cake. It is a scratch-made, moist and fluffy coconut cake filled and topped with a smooth coconut cream cheese frosting. So let's get right into it. So I went ahead and measured out all of my ingredients that I'm going to be using for this recipe. To some cake flour, we're going to add baking powder, salt, granulated sugar, and our secret ingredient, which is instant pudding mix. I like to use pudding in a lot of my cake recipes because it really does help keep the cake moist. So give that a good stir and let's get started on our wet ingredients. To a separate bowl, we're going to whisk together 2 eggs. Another key to keeping my cakes moist is to use melted butter and oil. Most people like to use coconut milk in their coconut cake recipes, but I prefer whole milk because coconut milk just doesn't have enough fat to keep the cake moist. I also added vanilla and coconut extracts. I gave that a good stir and poured it straight into my dry ingredients. Slowly whisk in the wet ingredients, and once it starts to come together, you can go faster. It's super important to scrape down your bowl to ensure your ingredients are evenly mixed. And once your batter becomes smooth like this, it's time to bake. This recipe makes 2 8-inch cake layers, so I went ahead and greased my cake pans, and I'm just going to evenly divide the batter into both of them. Look how quickly these cakes came together, like we're already ready to bake. So throw them in the oven at 325 degrees for 30 minutes. And let's get started on the cream cheese frosting. Now I told you this is a smooth cream cheese frosting, so please make sure that your cream cheese and butter are both softened so you don't end up with clumps in your frosting. Mix those together until evenly combined and scrape down your bowl. Just to show you the consistency and color that we're looking for, it should look like this. Next, I took some granulated sugar and pulsed it in my food processor for about 10 seconds just to make the sugar granules smaller so it's easier to incorporate into the frosting. Starting on slow speed, mix the sugar into the cream cheese mixture and then you can speed it up. Once the frosting becomes light and fluffy like this, and you can no longer feel sugar granules in between your fingers, it's ready to add the wet ingredients. I'm using coconut milk and coconut extract and vanilla extract. Normally, I would use heavy cream to whip it, but to give it that extra coconut flavor, I like to use coconut milk. And this frosting is so smooth, it's almost like a sweet cream cheese. Now that our cakes are done baking and cooled, let's get to frosting. I like to cut a little bit of the cake off the top just to even it out. And this is also the moment of truth where I can see how fluffy the cake is that I've baked. To frost the cake, I'm just going to add some frosting to the cake board, add the cake, and I'm going to add a thin layer of the cream cheese frosting on the first cake. I like to flip the second cake upside down just so that the top is completely flat, and then I continue frosting. Once my cake is completely frosted, I can cover it in sweetened coconut flakes. Add some to the top and around the edges. I definitely feel like coconut cake is one of the easiest ones to decorate because it doesn't have to be perfect because you're gonna cover it in coconut flakes anyway. Now, I am not stingy with cake, so that's why this slice is so wide, but look how yummy this looks. Like, it's so fluffy. I cannot wait to take a bite. This cake is truly one of a kind. I cannot wait for you to try this recipe. Please let me know in the comments if you give this a try. I will put the recipe below in the description, and as always, all of my recipes are always available on my blog at oliviasbestrecipes.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!